Welcome to USA Biz Party, the chat after the chat, the party after the party. I'm Anna Scheller. I am your host, and I just want to welcome you for joining us today, whether you're with me on Facebook, if you're with me, we're on Twitter, I think. I'm learning that one again because Periscope's gone. Also on YouTube, please say hello. Let us know that you're with us. And if you have questions or you would simply like to comment something helpful that has to do with the topic, we would love to have you join because we'll put those right down at the bottom and we'll be interacting with you. Today's chat was all about live events, and whether we believe it or not, live events are still super important. As a matter of fact, I think they're more important now than they ever were because of the isolation that was brought on by the pandemic. And with me today, with us during the chat, was my friend and expert tweeter, social media manager. He's managed another Twitter chat for quite a few years, and he's also known for tweeting live events. Help me welcome Mr. Ben Moore. Ben, welcome to USA Biz Party.
Well, thank you very much, Anna. It's great to be here, and it was thank you for having me on the chat today. It's been great to talk about live events. I've, as you said, I've been running them for 6 years now, and I've learned a lot in that time, and still learning. Every live event poses some new challenge that I then wrap into my experience.
Yeah, and you were our live tweeter for the Telesummit last year and did such a good job. Let's talk a little bit about some of the questions that that we discussed during the chat. Now, it was very interesting. We had a lot of great discussion. Some people came up with lists, other people had narrative. But talking about live events, are you finding that people are doing more virtual? Are the in-person events starting to come back? What have you seen in all of that?
Well, yes, obviously in the last year, the virtual events, it's something that I actually was slightly surprised by, that virtual events started cropping up and people started asking me to run their virtual events. And they are, from a social media point of view, and doing and managing them from my office at home, they're actually easier because you don't have to get out and about and do stuff. You just have everything on your computer ready to go. All the when you're introing speakers, hitting all the sponsors, tweeting about competitions and discounts that crop up, and then keeping an eye on any organic conversations that weren't necessarily planned, but is actually, I have found running and managing the accounts of virtual events slightly easier than actually the live events. So from my point of view, there's not much of a difference, because as like the majority of my work, I'd say half of the work is done before the actual event. It's being in touch with the whole marketing plan, prepping all my speakers' intros, prepping all the, as I said, competitions, anything I can prep beforehand and have the posts, tweets ready to go, so I just cut and paste them as they occur, as the live event is progressing, speakers coming on, and then getting taking sound bites from each speaker as they, as they're giving their presentation, is much the same, whether you're at a live event or working from your home office.
Yes, that I would think that doing it from home and all of the prep work would be easier, more simple to manage than having to be on site. Although there is the excitement of being on site, there's all of that goes with it. And I think we're going to start to see more of that this year.
Oh, absolutely. As countries open up in their own time. Yes.
For sure. For sure. Now you were talking about some of the prep that you do. So you work on the bios, you work on the introductory. Do you actually do any tweeting ahead of time of an event to help build the FOMO that we were talking about last week, or to create more buzz? What do you do ahead of time to help the event in advance of the live tweeting?
Okay, well, I would for any live tweeting or live social media event, I would suggest a 3-month lead in. Now, I've done many of those to the events that I have that I've managed, but sometimes I've been dropped in on the day, and being dropped in on the day, you have to just kind of create the buzz out of nowhere, and a lot of people don't necessarily know it's happening. But with a 3-month lead in, or any sort of lead in, like 2 months, 6 weeks, you can start engaging with the speakers, engaging with the delegates, the people who are who will be attending the events, and also talking about what's going on in the business sphere of the particular event, so that you're actually reaching more people. Because if your social media posts are effective, the ones that you're doing about the actual business sphere or business sector, if they're effective, more people are going to see them. More people are going to are going to potentially sign up, because you're out there and you're being active in the lead up to the actual event. And what I would do actually is target people who would potentially be interested in the event as well. So I would be targeting them in the lead up, people who aren't following the account and who, as I said, might be interested in the event.
So you're not just targeting. So as I'm understanding, I'm getting ready to actually become part of a live event here next month. It's called Small Business Supercharge.
Okay.
And we're doing 4 live events prior to the actual event, which is an online event. And I know they're targeting San Antonio, people in San Antonio. So the person that I'm working with, should I be looking for beyond her followership, to be looking for people in San Antonio who are in business, to see
who aren't, and who aren't following. So if you go to what am I saying? San Antonio business groups and their Twitter accounts, and look at their followers and see if they're from their followers, if people aren't following the account, just do a bit of light interaction. Let them know you're there. Let them know what's happening. I mean, it's not like a hard sell, as in, "Hi, we're doing this." Just comment nicely on their comments. Add value to something that they've already tweeted, which is not necessarily to do with your event, but it basically they'll get the interaction, and they'll get the notification, and they'll check you out. And if they're interested, then you've got somebody else.
Oh, excellent point. So really, becoming part of a live tweeting event is also part of the marketing strategy that people can implement to get more people registered for the event.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that when I'm hired to do the lead in, the 3-month lead in, it's about letting people know who don't already know about the event, and engaging with the speakers beforehand, engaging with anyone who's using the hashtag or is replying to your tweets. The normal way that you just run and manage any business account, as well as getting a new audience, or increasing the audience, increasing the community around the brand.
Now, one of the things as you're talking, we talk hashtags. So primarily my thoughts are Twitter because I'm primarily on Twitter. But if you're using like another platform, let's say Facebook, or you're using, let's say, LinkedIn, where hashtags are used but maybe not as prominent, how can you do some live posting there, ways to help draw attention to the event and hopefully get more people involved in the event?
Sorry, Anna, I could you just rephrase that or repurpose that question for me for a second? Just
Sure.
I missed the
Yes.
beginning part.
So we are used to using hashtags on Instagram and Twitter. LinkedIn and Facebook do use hashtags because live posting is something you can do across platforms. It's not just a Twitter friendly, although Twitter lends itself that way. So how can we use live posting outside of, let's say, Twitter to generate excitement about an event and draw more people to it? Is that
Well, I mean, like,
better?
yeah, posting on all your social media accounts, absolutely, about the event. Um, um, Finding, I try to find business articles that are dealing with topics that are going to be talked about in the event. So people kind of are, and then say, for instance, a journalist who's writing that. So if you can tag them in it, you can, if you can tag them in the post that you're actually posting up, saying this is the sort of thing that we're going to be talking about. You might get the journalist's point of view, or you might get their attention. But also, yeah, YouTube, all and Instagram, LinkedIn. You use all your platforms to gather to get the momentum going and encourage your speakers to do it as well.
Yeah, I think a key is encouraging the speakers, and so engaging with the speakers, helping them create the excitement as well. I think that was something we did well with the USA Biz Party Telesummit.
I must say, yes, I absolutely agree. The speakers were really on board in the engagement factor.
Yeah, and that's a key for also a successful event, because you want to get them involved in the social media as well, because like it or not, social media is here to stay. Like it or not, social media is a big factor in creating buzz around an event. Now, after an event, we also want to talk about that, because it's easy to go, oh, okay, that's over. Woo, done. But there's a lot that can be done post-event that can be very beneficial for the event and for the speakers and the organizers. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I mean, anyone who has engaged with your for instance, on Twitter, anyone who has engaged, you can put them all in a Twitter list. They're part of your new community, and they're like, if they've been engaging, that means they're interested one way or the other. I mean, engaging appropriately and positively, of course. And they're people to actually keep the relationship going. So if you put them in a list, they're people to. They're sort of like mini brand ambassadors for you.
Yeah.
And also repurposing content. That was something I didn't actually put up, but one of the USA Biz Party networkers put that up. It's repurposing the content from the event, and like finding or keeping an eye on the news and what's happening in the days and weeks after the event, and stuff that's relevant to your event, linking that up. That would be another way to keep the keep the momentum going, and just generally being supportive of the new growth in your community, the new people, and your obviously your historic community members as well. But just keeping it, continuing to engage with your community post event is in itself will help you to keep your brand moving and growing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come back on the screen here. There we go. So how can people get in touch with you? Because you don't just work Irish events. For those of you that are watching or listening, obviously, Ben is not native to the United States. He is. Where in Ireland are you? Near Dublin? Or?
I'm in Dublin city centre, yes.
Oh, okay. All righty. And I think I met you when I went 5 years ago. It's been such a long time.
I think we met at one of Samantha Kelly's tweeting
events. Yeah. Yes. So if people want to learn more about you or just maybe engage, maybe see if you could help them with their live event, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. My Twitter account is BeanMimo, BeanMimo. And just tweet me, say hi. I'm always on Twitter. And I also have a kind of a blog, which is a personal blog, but it's BeanMimo as well, WordPress. So BeanMimo. That's perfect.
There we go. There we go. There's a story behind that. So BeanMimo, it's not because you've been called Bean. It's an abbreviation of your name, right?
Yeah, so my four names are Benjamin, Andrew, Michael, Moore. So I took the first two letters of each of those. So Benjamin, Andrew, Michael, Moore, BeanMimo.
There we go. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you again, Ben.
And thank you, Anna, and good luck.
Well, that was Ben Moore of Ireland, who does live tweeting and manages social media. I hope you got a lot out of it because I did. It was amazing. And if you're a live event coordinator, you might want to get in touch with him. Even if you don't use his services, I know he could be a great benefit to you. And as far as we're concerned, join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/USA Biz Party. We're starting to get more active there. We are working different social media platforms to get the word out about what we're doing. And we are putting together a membership website that we started way back when we did our event in December. Would love to hear from you and get on our mailing list so that you can hear more. But go to that Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/USA Biz Party, and we'll meet you there. Again, it was delightful to have you join us. And please feel free to comment whether you're with us live or you're on the replay. Make it a great day.